Hello, welcome to Care Forward Innovations podcast, hosted by Bernadette Vinas, sponsored by Care Forward AI, providing AI solutions for senior care. Care Forward Innovations, a new podcast focused on innovation in senior care services, and assisted living. We are dedicated to sharing the practical strategies that are truly making a difference, not just the academic concepts. We want to highlight what's actively improving senior care and operational efficiency.
Welcome back to Care Forward, where we talk with leaders shaping a new modern view of aging. Today, we're diving into topics so many families are struggling with, finding that right senior care without confusion, stress, or guesswork. Our guest is helping to change that. Barbara Boyer is Executive Director of AgeWise Colorado, a nonprofit that connects older adults and caregivers with trusted services, clear guidance, and free education. Their mission is simple: making aging well and with choice possible for everyone. Barbara has spent her career in senior services and advocacy, working to ensure people can stay informed, independent, and in control as they age. Today, we'll explore how aging is changing and what a more supportive, empowering future could look like. Barbara, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you
How
so
are you?
much for having me.
Yes, I'm glad that you could join me. So, to kick us off, tell us about yourself. What pulled you into this work and what keeps you passionate about it?
Well, prior to this position, I was working with older adults who were visually impaired. And as I have become one of those older adults, I really appreciated working with that segment of our communities. And we had to close that organization, unfortunately. COVID had lots of effects everywhere.
Oh, yes.
And the gentleman who founded this organization, I was looking for a position. I happen to know because we both serve on an advisory committee for the local area agency on aging. And I know how much this kind of service is needed. It has come back time and time again in many reports from state agencies and the AAAs throughout the state that people have all these needs, but they don't know where to find the services they need. And that's why he created AgeWise. That's why I wanted to join it and be out there and be able to help people connect to someone that they really need, that they've been able to take a look at prior to just talking to them so they could make informed decisions. Using our website, they can look at a number of different service providers in any field and really get a feel for them. Who's close to them? How do they approach things? Then when they call them or have them visit, they really are going to be able to ask good questions. That educational component on our website really helps to give people a background. This is what I'm looking for, and here's things I never even thought of. So I thought it would be challenging, exciting, fun, and I'd meet lots of great people, and all has come true. So that's why I'm here.
That's great. That's really great. So, for listeners who are new to AgeWise, how do you support older adults and caregivers in the sense that, how do you vet the providers? What does that actually mean?
Oh, we've developed a proprietary protocol to do this. We do everything from a background check of the owner of a business. We check even reviews. We check licenses. We check that they have everything they need to have done with the Secretary of State. We just really want to make sure it's a legitimate business. And again, we look at the reviews because we want to make sure that someone that's providing you a service has really been doing that. And I know there can be lots of, everyone's wonderful and not a lot of negative, but you can find some of those people that say, I thought I was going to get this and I got that and I went the wrong way. They were nice people, but it's good to find that information out and then have a conversation with the provider about it before we put them up on the website. That
Oh, okay.
way, the user can have as much confidence as they can possibly have in connecting with one of our service providers.
I see. Do you end up visiting the service provider sometimes, or
No,
it's not
no,
really
we
necessary?
we
Okay.
seldom do. I am very aware of a lot of the service providers in the Denver metro area because of my previous work and my involvement with a lot of other groups. There is myself and our founder. We've just recently hired two people, and we're all contractors, basically getting a very small stipend
Mhm.
because we are a nonprofit. And we
Yes.
don't have, I'm not earning an executive director's salary, nor are these other people. So we're very small, but we have grown like wildfire. And there's just
That's good.
not enough time to get to everyone.
So the aging landscape is shifting fast, right? So what big changes or trends are you seeing that people should know about? And how does it actually really directly affect age-wise?
Well, one of the interesting things is Colorado is in the top three states in the country with the fastest growing older population, and that's considered 60 and older. And so we are overwhelmed, if you might, that aging population. And, none of us at older ages are as old as our parents were when they were that particular age. A lot of people are still very active. But with that ever increasing population, there is far more demand for services from those who need it. And of course, with all that's gone up and down with the economy, changes in governmental perspective of funding, of services, it gets more and more challenging that way that we have so many people who do need. We even have, I just recently read an article, there are more and more older adults who are losing their homes and have nowhere to live. They
Yeah.
are single, their families, they're either never had children or their families are distant, somewhere in a distant state, and they're out on the streets. So we have that issue that we're dealing with. Right now, I just came from a meeting this morning that the whole issue of food insecurity has become more and more prevalent. Our
Yeah.
housing market is right up there. That is like the homelessness, just another issue of keeping up with, I've lost my spouse. Now I'm only getting this amount of Social Security, and my rent went up, has doubled in the last 10 years. So there's a lot of issues at hand.
Yes, no, I hear that. I think it's everywhere. The leaders that I've spoken to have expressed just as much that basically there's a huge growth in the amount of people that are retiring and needing some sort of a community that they can, basically live in or belong to. In addition to that, what other obstacles that are the families facing when trying to navigate care?
Well, I'll tell you one of the big ones, and it's why we really reached out to the caregivers, the adult children of older adults. They're taking the kids to soccer games or baseball games. They're working a full-time job. And suddenly, mom, who's in a town maybe close by, but maybe not so close by, maybe even in another state, needs help. And it's falling on them because mom doesn't have maybe a lot of money.
Mm,
She may not be able to afford to go into a continuum care community, which is independent living. Usually there's meal service, so you don't necessarily have to cook. And there's a lot of social activities to keep you interacting with other people. That's great. You start having health issues, you move into the next building, and that's assisted living. If in fact then it gets worse, you wind up in long-term nursing care. Those are all very expensive. In Metro Denver, the average is about $12,000 a month.
Oof.
Not a lot of people can afford that.
Yeah.
All kinds of issues with what Medicare pays, how do you get to Medicaid, et cetera, et cetera. And so these caregivers, the adult children want to do as much as they can for their family, but they're very busy. Very
Mm.
often they will wind up having mom move in, mom or dad. They may go to their mom's house and take care of them. It affects their work, whether it's the most dramatic being that one of the family members has to quit their job to take care of the older adult. Less than that is finding the right care, finding the right person to come into mom's home and take care of her, or finding an affordable place that she can go to. So it's not just something that affects older adults, it affects all of us. There are grandchildren helping their grandparents. That affects the economy if someone loses their job. Right out of their pocket, they estimate approximately it costs $10,000 a year to be a caregiver, family caregiver, because you're buying extra things, you're doing extra things, you're traveling more, whatever that may be.
So can you list out all the services that AgeWise provide for the community?
Oh, good
I mean,
heavens.
you have so many different providers, and I think they provide
Right.
different services, right? So,
We do have a lot of different categories. We've tried to set it up so that it's easy to find what you need. So it's absolutely healthcare providers, and that's regular healthcare providers. It's alternative healthcare. It may be someone who's doing acupuncture. We have no prejudices in there as to the type of care someone may be looking for. We have a whole section on adaptive and medical devices and technology. So much advancement has happened over the last few years with technology. So there are training programs, there are devices that can help people take better care of themselves or for their caregivers to know what's going on with their loved one. Even when you have someone coming in the home to take care of the older adult, that caregiver is opposed to making a phone call, maybe using some other kind of technology. So the caregiver can go in at any time and access, here's what they did with my loved one today, or here's an issue that's starting to show up in my mother's health or my father's health. So those are all wonderful devices. We have a lot of information on aging in place. People who will come in and do in-home care or will manage your care, that will do a safety assessment. People that'll come in and do light chores, maybe it's yard work or shoveling snow. There's even mobile medical providers on our site that will come and give you an eye exam at your home or test your hearing or help take care of a wound. We have a mobile wound care service that's incredible. We don't realize that that can be so devastating. It's easy to get infected. It might be hard to take care of, and they literally would go to your home and take care of you. We have disability services listed that are either support programs or give you different kinds of training to learn how to deal with your disability, whatever that might be. End of life Information is always being looked at on our website. It is so important that people take the time. We don't want to talk about leaving this planet, but we all will.
Yeah.
And there are certain documents you should have. You should have a medical power of attorney and a will and all kinds of other things. And so we have providers on there that are attorneys. We have funeral homes that can help you plan or even pre-plan what happens when it's your time to go. We have a number of other attorneys that do other kinds of legal work for you, a lot of insurance agents that handle not only helping you sign up for Medicare, but really understanding what your needs, your financial position is for those supplemental plans or the Advantage plans. Also in there are our financial advisors who will help you with an estate plan and plan out how are you going to spend the rest of your years. When you do it early enough, all of those things that we kind of want to put over here to the side, because we don't want to think about it, it can make those golden years a little bit easier. What else? We have food and meal access, delivery services, Meals on Wheels, that kind of thing, information about SNAP, where you can go for congregate meals, emergency food banks, or the regular food pantries, nutritional counselors, etc. Because your food is very important to your overall health.
Yes.
If you're not eating right, you're not going to stay healthy. Housing, we've got a lot of information on affordable housing, downsizing, move management, that kind of thing, different assisted living, long-term care facilities, the continuum care that has the independent all the way through nursing home, government and veteran programs. We have over 400 different programs that are run by the state, and many of them are free. And so many older adults don't know about them. So we've spent a lot of time getting those up on the website as well. Then there's job assistance information. A lot of people have found the need to work. They thought they were going to retire and they don't like sitting home. They want to do something. They may want to volunteer. They may want to do some different type of, I almost want to say career. And so we have all that kind of information on the site as well. I think I mentioned medical, social and learning opportunities, life enrichment. Socialization is still so important. It's like, you want to send your kids to preschool so they learn how to get along with others. Well, for
Yes.
older adults, we very often get in a position of being lonely. Our friends may have passed, our spouse, and it's really important to be able to get out and keep your brain going and your social skills going. So we've got a lot of that on there. And last but not least is transportation, which is absolutely so critical. So many people get to a point where they can't drive or they should not drive. I've hidden the car, second set of car keys in my life, so my daughter can't, make a decision without me. But really, transportation, like food, are the two biggest issues for older adults and how they are functioning. They have to get to a doctor's appointment. If you're living alone and not driving, how do you do that? Getting to the grocery store, getting to the senior center so you can do that socialization. So we have all those categories. We have hundreds of subcategories, and we have almost 1,200 providers on our site now. We're approaching 1,200, and we've only been doing this since July of 2021. So it's pretty exciting.
So it's a one-stop shop, basically.
Yeah,
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 that's
you
how
can
they do.
go, and what we have also found is that people go and they're looking for one thing, but in looking for that, they see the webinars that we have posted, or they see the articles about that topic that they're looking for. And so then they look for other things and they learn, well, it's not just getting to the doctors. I also have to get home. And maybe someone can drop me at the grocery store or whatever.
Yeah. So most of it is referral basis then, right? With the providers.
I don't want to say you're totally on your own, because we do have a phone line. And if you're not comfortable with the computer or you're confused, we've only gotten great comments about the ease of being able to navigate our site. But sometimes there's something more. You don't quite get it all. And so people can call us and we can help them that way. We're not saying that one organization is better than another. That's for you to judge, because each person is so different. And even with the same kind of diagnosis of some issue, it's different than the next person that has that same diagnosis. And the needs are so varied. That's why, having those options in any given category and being able, the providers get a whole page. And so they can put a lot of information there so you get a feel for them. You can go to their website and then click back to ours and look at the next one. You can sort them by what they do, where they are, etc. And again, that gives the person that's looking a real sense of who is this business? What are they doing? How do they approach things? I've had times where I've just looked at a website that we're talking to the provider on and go, that feels wonderful. They have such a soothing website, a strange word maybe, but it looked very tranquil and warm, and oh, I'd like them to come to my home, kind of thing. So again, it gives people a sense of who the businesses are, and then it's up to them to, take the next step. But if you Google something, and I love Google, it's not to be critical, but you can Google and you say, I need in-home care, and you can get a million responses, and you don't know who they are,
Yeah.
if they're legitimate or not. And that's the difference. You can really get a sense of who a business is on our site.
Yeah. So as an organization then, what are your typical challenges that you run into?
The biggest challenges, to be honest, are the number of hours in the day. There's not enough. And really, we are a 501c3. We formed this very specifically as a nonprofit. There are other directories out there in the world. Most of them are advertisers. You either subscribe to their service, or a service provider has paid to be listed. We charge a vetting fee. And then we always ask our providers for contributions. But if they don't give us a contribution, they're still on our site, because it's a public service. We want to serve the community. We want older adults and their caregivers to find what they need easily. But we still have to pay for our website and enhancements and maintenance and the little bit of stipend that our staff gets, social media advertising to really attract more caregivers. A nonprofit, some people think, well, they're not like a real business. A nonprofit just as real as a for-profit. If there's
Yeah.
anything over at the end of the year, it goes right back into the driving the mission of the organization. So that is our biggest challenge, and getting people to know that we're there. our founder just pulled some numbers, and it looks like we've touched almost 500,000 people already, which is phenomenally heartwarming that people are
Yes.
getting to know us more and more. But we are statewide. We've started in the Denver metro area. We've expanded up to the Fort Collins, Greeley area, down to Colorado Springs with these two new people that are helping us. And we do have providers in the rest of the state, but not as many.
Mm.
Denver, of course, the Front Range is the population center of the state, so it makes sense. But we have lots more work. We figure there's at least 3,000 providers out there we want to get on our site. So that's why I say it's time and money.
Mhm. Yes. So definitely growth is one thing that the business want to have. Um,
Yes.
but is it growth just still staying within the same office or also growth outside of the city that where you're at right now? I'm
Well,
just curious.
we actually don't even have an office. We both,
Okay. Working.
oh, actually, the other two ladies now work out of our homes. We have volunteers that work out of their homes as well. And yes, we want to get more and more people from around the state. I think that means we need to go there. We go to probably 30 or 40 resource fairs every year to reach the older adults, their caregivers, and other providers. We need to do that beyond the boundaries of the I-25 corridor here. Um, so that again, if you're traveling to the opposite side of the state, you need to stay overnight, you need to put gas in the car. All of those things add up. So, we take it a day at a time. Honestly, Bernie, and there's moments where there's almost a momentum of its own where people have heard about us. We ask our providers to share our information with their clients and other providers. And that really has helped us build. And, we know we're not going to do this overnight.
Mm.
Um, it's taken 4.5 years almost to get to where we are right now. And we'll just keep going at the pace we can afford to go at. We're very budget conscious. We apply for grants. We don't provide a direct service, so that it's very challenging to get traditional grants. Contributions from our newsletter subscribers are nice, but we will just keep on keeping on, as we used to say back in the day, because it is a valuable service.
Yes, no, it definitely is by the sound of it. Especially being able to go to just one place and be able to find so many different, instead of having to try and navigate so many different web pages, that
Right.
would make it so much easier. But I could also see some, like, if in case, like you mentioned, if there's an older adult that's not able to be on a computer, then there has to be some other way to be able to
Right.
make it easier, just as easy for them. So if you had a magic wand, what would you want that magic wand to solve for you at this point, especially within your business?
Wow. Well, I'll go back to some of the technology, and I'm thinking a bigger picture actually than just age-wise. Um, there are so many older adults in need. The magic wand would just let everyone know here's the website, here's the phone number, I'm here. But I'd have more people to help me, to help them, because usually when people are looking for a service, it's not like I want to plan ahead. And so when the day comes that I have to go into assisted living, if I fall and break my hip and then I have to go to rehab for 2 months, You don't think about those things today. You think about it when they're saying, okay, we're going to discharge you tomorrow. Um, Part of that magic wand would be here where everybody look and take a moment to think about where you would go, what you would do, what do you need, how do you take care of things. That's totally unrealistic. But at least to know that we're there when they do need us and they can find what they need when they need it would be miraculous. And on the
Yes.
technology side, if someone could do all the data entry and all that I have to do,
Mhm.
besides all of the outreach and attending meetings and doing presentations and workshops, if I could find a way for that magic to happen, I'd have a lot more time to be out in the community.
Yes, no, that's definitely out there. I can promise you that. So okay. Well, I think um that's all I have to ask for now. Do you have any other questions or any other things that you want to express bef before we
No,
end?
thank you for the opportunity. I hope a lot of people get to see this. And even if you don't need anything right now, take a look so you know where to go when you do
Yeah.
need something. And I guess I would be remiss as the executive director of a nonprofit if I didn't say, even if it's $5, there's a donation button on every page. You know, you say back, back when I was growing up and I'm in my 70s, my mom lived through the Depression and said, no, you save those pennies. And the pennies became a dime, became a dollar, and those $5 or a dollar add up. And it really helps us to help others. And that's the whole reason we're here.
Yes. Every little bit helps. That's for sure.
Yes, yes.
So,
And if you know someone that needs help, point them our way.
yeah, definitely. Well, I thank you so much for your time and for the insight. That's definitely very informative. I wish you guys can open a location, well, the business here in Washington State.
This, if you don't mind my interrupting you, it is a simple model. It is not simple to do. Um, but it really is. I'm doing a presentation at the American Society on Aging's convention next year. And I really hope, and it's literally on AgeWise, why we developed it, what it's about. And I really hope that some other states will follow up with us to set up the model.
Yes. Yeah, this outreach that I'm doing is nationwide. So I'm hoping then that we can definitely reach a few different states as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is we all need to work together. And I'm not saying this as an elder person, but older people have lived long lives. Most of them, if not 90%, 99% of them have been good lives. And they've contributed to our communities. And they should be respected and given
yes.
a helping hand when they need it.
Yeah.
Because they probably did something or more than some things along the way to help others.
Yes.
That's what the world
And
is.
And I know that sometimes they are definitely set aside and forgotten. And that's the part that has always hurt me internally when I hear that. And so to me, the awareness of it, the senior community is so huge now that there's definitely a lot of improvements that can be made um,
Yes,
in order to
yes.
take care of our senior citizens. So,
And some of it isn't expensive. A lot of it is
oh,
expensive. But
yes.
that kindness of giving your neighbor a ride to the grocery store or just sitting and playing whatever cards. My grandmother used to play canasta. So playing a game of canasta or whatever it might be, giving them a
Yeah.
little attention goes so far, so very, very far. They feel
Yes.
cared about and not forgotten.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. You take care. You have a good rest of
Okay,
your evening. Thank you.
have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Care Forward Innovations. We hope today's episode inspired you to help shape the future of senior care. Remember, big change starts small. Let our passion uncover fresh ideas and drive great changes forward. Be sure to follow us for more upcoming episodes where we share best practices, lessons learned, and practical solutions for senior care from other leaders. Let's keep moving. Care Forward.